I just hit legs at the gym and now I feel like saying something controversial. I think the Steam Machine's quite a good idea and I can imagine the price is actually going to feel fair once it comes out. Now, just in case you guys haven't seen this bad boy yet, it's a 6x6 inch mini cube and it's a complete PC packed inside of it. The device itself uses Steam's own operating system, which basically just gives people a lot more freedom. It's not bounded down to Windows or Linux or any other kind of operating system people use. And although I'm sure some people are a little bit scared to kind of divert away from Windows, the Steam operating system actually seems to be fairly good. Now, I do want to start off by saying the device itself looks quite beautiful. It has a lot of kind of customizational features to it. I know this is really sounding like Steam's own ad right now, but this is not a paid sponsors video. I've been doing a lot of research into this bad boy and I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. And just to make it very clear for a lot of people, the Steam Machine will unfortunately be powered by electricity and not by steam power. I know that's going to come as a bit of shock to many people, but yeah, you know that's a horrible joke. Please just love me. Anyway, if we get into the spaghetti and meatballs of this bad boy, the specs. That is literally the most important thing in this whole device, and the specs seem fairly good. Obviously, it's still extremely dependent on the actual price of the device. So it comes with a semi-custom AMD Zen 4. I know this sounds like I'm speaking enchantment language to a lot of people, so I want to translate it into more recognizable terms. The AMD Zen 4 is basically the equivalent of a kind of like later Gen i5, so it's fairly decent. And then the GPU is the equivalent to a 3060, I believe. And then obviously it's got 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and 8 gigabytes of DDR6 RAM, and there's two different machine models, one with a 512 gigabyte SSD and one with a 2 terabyte SSD. If you're buying the 512, I'm assuming you're using the computer for just like strict office work because it is still a PC. You can actually use it to like download apps, etc., have Google, Chrome, Discord. In short terms, it's a PC in a box. And to be honest, the reason why I genuinely think this thing's going to work is because it's already all set up for you. Like nowadays, when you get a transition of people going from console to PC, it's a big step up, especially if you don't know dick about PCs. It's honestly quite scary. Like for me, I was on console for literally years up until I was about 15, and then I finally saved up enough money to buy my own PC, and pretty much all my friends who already had PCs were telling me build it yourself, but I was just too scared to do it. And now looking back on it, I'm glad I didn't do it because I would have fucked the whole shit up. But when I decided to upgrade to my next PC, I decided to build it because I knew more about it. And I saw Moist Critical talking about this, saying he doesn't know who the target audience is. It's for console players who want to upgrade to a PC and they want to completely avoid their kind of messy transition where they don't actually know what's going on. And I know this is going to sound like a wacky and wild one and perhaps controversial, but I think it will work. Like nowadays, yes, I know console gaming is still really big, but it's also still massively limited to what you can actually do on a console. Like if we are looking at the PS5, for example, I know you can download Discord and you can use it, but that doesn't mean that it's a clear path and there isn't any problems. If we look at the Steam Machine, on the other hand, you can use controller, keyboard and mouse. There's loads of different connections to it. And yeah, sure, it might be priced higher than a console, but that's because you're getting more than a console. And I do just want to quickly credit Linus Tech Tips. He did a great video breaking it all down, so I just want to play a couple of his clips.
They said that while they expect it to be very competitively priced with a PC, that it will be priced like a PC, rather than like a console with games subsidizing the upfront hardware purchase.
So with this information, can I make a bit of a prediction as to what I think the price is going to be? Definitely not $500. Don't expect that. It will be between the range of $500 to $800. If I had to guess, I'm going to say a flat $750, maybe $800. And then if you want to get the version that's actually worth buying, I'm going to rip the band-aid off and I'm going to say it's going to be $1,000. And although this may sound like a price which a lot of people aren't willing to pay, if you go onto IGN's website right now, they actually have a little bit of a voting system where you can see the price that people are willing to pay. Obviously, 50% are saying $500 because that feels like a fair price to pay for something like this if you're not considering it to be your own personal main device. If you think, okay, I want to get the Steam Machine, have a bit of fun with it, check it out, yes, $500 seems fair. But if it's going to be your main device, I think you're going to be willing to pay a little bit more. You can actually see that over 30% of people have said $800, and I think that's actually a fair price for the machine because at the end of the day, this bad boy can run 4K at 60 FPS, and I'm sure if you downgrade the graphics a little bit, you'll easily be able to get in the range of like 144 FPS. And something else I also want to note on, which I saw Moist Critical talk about, is he felt as if the Steam Machine was mainly just going to be targeted at Steam users. Perhaps people who have the Steam Deck already and want to upgrade. Yes, I think that's a very good market which Steam will definitely be targeting because you can for a fact buy the Steam Machine with your Steam funds in a similar way to the Steam Deck. However, I personally feel what Steam is doing here is really quite smart because they are going to be targeting those console players, the people who are a bit too scared to upgrade to PC but have the money for it. Like as Linus just mentioned, it's going to be priced like a PC, but it's still going to be competitive in the PC market. So in short terms, it's basically just a PC that's cheaper than a PC but holds a familiar stance like a console. It works incredibly well. It's inserted itself quite solidly in that grey area between console and PC, and it's just one of those things which we have needed for such a long amount of time now.
The Steam Machine is a full-fledged PC, capable of being used as a full-fledged PC. There's no guarantee then that Let's say a corporate purchase of 10,000 of these things would result in a single game sale. So they really do need to protect the sustainability of their hardware business.
As I mentioned earlier, you can still use this bad boy like a normal PC. You can download Chrome, Discord, Twitter, whatever you want to download on your PC. And Linus makes a really valid point here, because at the end of the day, Steam isn't just making this console to make money, they're using it as a marketing tool as well. But the reason why they've called it Steam Machine and not just PC built by Steam because haha funny lol is because they want people to actually use Steam as their main source of gaming. Like for example, Xbox or PlayStation, they wouldn't make their next console and say, guys, we're going to remove the Xbox and PlayStation store and remove that tax on the games, because that just wouldn't be profitable and it wouldn't be used as a marketing tool. So I completely understand why Steam doesn't want to price their device too low at the $500 mark, because then you're just going to get these huge corporations going, we can cheap out on computers, we can get some really powerful gear for only $500 and we don't have to download any games. Like Steam really wants to make sure that they're building up a loyal audience here. You can use other business, for example, like Apple. The reason why everybody goes to Apple isn't because you just like the phones, you like the way they feel. It's because of the convenience of it. You already have Apple. Everybody that you know has Apple. You know how an Apple phone works. You know how easy it is to navigate. You're obviously going to stay with Apple because you use your phone so much, in similarity to a PC as well. Now that does kind of lead me on to my next rhetorical question. Do I think Windows users or Linux users will be switching over to the Steam operating system? Probably not. So when it comes down to competing in the PC market, it's not going to be focused on pulling PC users like Windows users away and then getting them on the Steam machine. It's going to be focusing on being that stepping stool into the PC world. And dialing back to that point I made earlier about the IGN voting system between the 500 and 800, I did do a little bit of mathematics and multiplication. I know I can actually use my brain somehow. And if we're just basing it off of these basic figures right here, if Steam ends up pricing their Steam machine at $800, they're sacrificing quite a hefty amount of percentage of their profits in hopes that they will then build up loyal customers, and then that's where they're going to really rake in their clams. Like I think everybody that already has Steam downloaded, you've bought a couple games on there, you have spent money on their platform. And if I had to guess, the average person that has Steam downloaded, they've maybe spent about $100 on the platform. And if we are looking at the upcoming AAA games, they're usually on Steam, so if somebody buys a Steam machine to play games and they're using Steam, they're going to be spending a lot more money than what they originally spent on the Steam machine. So what Steam wants to do is, instead of just putting this out there as a new device, they really want to help those console players transfer over to the PC experience, or on the rare occasion some PC users that make their way over to the Steam machine, and they just kind of lock them in this gate and say, okay, you're going to use Steam and Steam only now. And it's going to result in that Steam machine doing something similar to what Apple does, which is just convenience. Why would you not want to use a Steam machine when everything is already there? Steam isn't just creating another kind of machine or a console, they are building convenience as well, and I think it's a really smart business strategy. It's really taken the next step. And just to hit the nail on the head with people asking, why wouldn't I just buy a console? Like the PS5 is only £300 now. Well, my response to that is, why would you just buy a console when you can have something which operates in the same way to a console, with it being so easy to navigate but acts as a PC as well? Like if they get that price of the Steam machine right, it will absolutely destroy every console out there, because why would you buy a console? You can play every single same game on the Steam machine that you can play on Xbox or PlayStation. It wouldn't make any logical sense to buy those consoles anymore when you can just get something for an extra $100 more. And developing on from that, I know there's going to be some people going out there saying, why not just buy a PC? Oh yeah, sure, you could buy a PC, but PCs that are going to be able to operate at the same level as the Steam machine are going to be a lot more expensive. Like this one right here, this is one that I found to be quite similar. This is $850. Right now it's $250 off. Usually it's $1,100. With something like this, it's not just going to be a kind of plug in and play and let's have some fun. It's going to be quite complex to make your way around, especially if you've just gone from a console to a PC. That's a really big step up. I think the Steam machine is just perfect for people that want to go from console to PC, or honestly maybe even looking just to get into gaming in the first place. The Steam machine is going to be that perfect go-to piece of convenience that the market has been missing for so long. But obviously that comes down to if Steam actually prices it right. If they release this bad boy and it's like $1,000 minimum, I can't see it doing it as well. They need to make sure that it competes with console and PC at the same time. Just hit it in that gray area, $750, and then the one that's a bit more expensive, maybe $900. I think that would compete incredibly well. And as soon as people see how convenient the Steam machine actually is, I can really see it taking over the market. But yeah, obviously for the time being, there's no knowing. This bad boy isn't coming out until Q1 of 2026, so between January and March kind of time. But that doesn't mean that we can't be excited for it. Obviously, I'm not going to buy it. I've already got my own PC, which kind of answers the question of why would you go from PC to Steam machine? It's not really a debate right there. It's going, okay, I have an Xbox, I want to get a PC. what's going to be easy for me to learn? Steam Machine, there you go. And also just to note on top of that, console players like to kind of customize their consoles. I see people put like stickers on their PlayStations. The Steam Machine has that really kind of cute thing which I spoke about earlier. I think it's such a good way of getting new people in. Honestly, it's really basic and easy, but man, it adds a lot of personality. So yeah, just want to talk about this for a little bit, and that's about it. See ya.